Hello and welcome to today's episode of pianoTV. I'm Allysia, your host, and we are clearly not where we usually are in my studio. I am actually at Long & McQuaid right now, and this video has been a long time coming because you guys ask me about keyboards a lot and digital pianos a lot, and you ask what do I recommend for beginners, for intermediate players, and I've never had a good answer for you. So what we're going to do today is we're going to tour Long & McQuaid and look at some of the different keyboards. We're going to test them out, and yeah, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So what I decided to do was poll you guys. I sent out an email to the newsletter asking what your favorite keyboards were, what your favorite pianos were, if what you had at home was something you'd recommend, and then just asking questions about the keyboards that you had. So I took that information and crunched it into some favorites that you guys all seem to agree on that are awesome, and those are the ones that I will be showing you today. The Yamaha P45 is consistently recommended for beginners at the piano for two reasons. Number one, it's a solid quality digital piano, and number two, it's from a top brand at a fantastic price. This is what Yamaha has to say about it. The P45 features a graded hammer standard GHS keyboard. The feel of the keyboard gradually changes according to the register so that it feels heavier when playing bass parts and lighter when playing treble parts. The piano also features a keyboard with a natural feel with black keys that feature a matte finish for authentic piano playing close to that of an acoustic piano. This digital piano is probably the top one I'd recommend just right out of the gates because it's a good balance of quality and cost. Mind you, at the price of about $500 USD, you're really not getting any bells and whistles. The special features are super bare bones and minimal, but for what it lacks in frills, it definitely makes up for in quality. The weighting of the keys is surprisingly realistic on this piano. It's lightweight, it's portable, and it should be able to take a beginner all the way through many years of learning well through the intermediate stages. Advanced students might want something more sophisticated, but I would personally be happy with this as like a simple travel keyboard. You also have the option, and most of the ones on this list have this option, to purchase it furniture style with a nicer stand, or if you're a piano player on the go, you can use the regular travel X-shaped stand. The Yamaha P45 was the clear favorite, according to you guys. So many of you have this keyboard and love it. And after trying out a bunch of digital pianos, I would actually have to agree that this is my favorite one for the price. And I even preferred it to some that were a little bit more expensive. If you're into the brand Yamaha, which many of you are, it was actually the most highly voted brand according to you when I put out the survey. But you're looking for a more luxurious option, you might want to check out the CLP series, the Clavinova series. I think it's very much worth checking out. They're beautiful digital pianos that, according to you, best imitate the sound and feel of a real acoustic piano. It's perfect for those of you who are serious players but might not be in a situation where you're able to play an acoustic piano, like maybe you live in an apartment or something, or you just don't want to have to deal with the hassle of upkeep. This specific series wasn't available on the floor when I was at Long & McQuaid, but you can talk to them about ordering in keyboards. So that's just why I'm not demoing it today, but they can get it for you. It is also an older series, but the reason I wanted to include it was because many of you own and love digital pianos from the CLP series. It's a more expensive piano at around $2,000 USD, which is basically what a mid-range Yamaha digital piano will run you. According to Yamaha, it has a powerful sound and a superb wooden keyboard, and it offers unprecedented levels of versatility to pianists of all abilities. What you guys have commented on with this one is the good quality speakers, the realistic touch and action, specifically its virtual resonance modeling, which is a way they basically make their digital piano sound so lifelike. These are beautiful digital pianos. They make lovely pieces of furniture, basically like you'd expect if you're paying this amount of money. It's got a lot of extra too, lots of settings and sounds, and it's easy to customize. You can basically customize everything from the style of piano to the reverb level to the brightness and beyond. It also has Bluetooth connectivity to hook up to your tablets and so on. So honestly, the biggest con for this series would be the size and the price. These are digital pianos that are meant to stay put somewhere, like an acoustic. It's not travel friendly. You're not going to take it with you to gigs. I love the Kawai CN37. I tested it out on the floor and it was my favorite out of all of the ones they had out. Now, this isn't something that exists on Amazon, so make sure to head to Long & McQuaid in your area if you want to check it out and play it. This is one of the higher price point ones, and that's definitely reflected in the quality. I loved the various piano sound presets, and I felt that the keys were just really sensitive and expressive. There was a lot of nuance in them. I pretty much like anything in the CN series is really nice. I tried a couple CN ones, but the CN37 was my favorite. Now, you guys have commented on this one as well. You said you like the quality and the look of it, all of the fun features, like it has built-in etudes and stuff like that, and you also think the pedal quality is high. Now, a con that a few of you mentioned is that the quality through good headphones is so much higher than through the built-in speakers, and that's true of a lot of digital pianos. I personally found the CN37 to have quite good speakers, but it is a newer model and some of you were speaking to older models in the CN series, so if you're getting a used keyboard, that might be something to think about. We have another one from Kawai on this list. It's a solid brand if you're in the market for digital pianos. Just like Roland and Yamaha, I would consider those to be the standards. The ES100 seems to be a favorite among you, and I didn't get to try this one out in store, but I will walk you through the keyboard online and I'll talk about what you have mentioned just really briefly. It seems to me that this one's comparable to the Yamaha P45. It's just a little bit more expensive. If you get it with the stand, it's around 700 USD. But the quality and simplicity is pretty similar, and so this would also make a great starter piano if you're looking for an alternative to the Yamaha P45. One of you mentioned that over time the tape under the keys can shift and become uneven with use, so that is something to think about in terms of quality, but on the other hand, Kawai does have really good customer service and is able to fix the issue. Roland has a series of digital pianos in varying degrees of fanciness and quality. So the ones that I checked out and the ones that you guys led me to and pointed the way to is the Roland Fp 30, 60, and 90. It seemed like when I surveyed you, you had a pretty decent mix of all three. Most of you had the 30 and only a couple of you had the 90, but we are going to talk about all three in the series just briefly here. Now, they go in order of fanciness. So the FP30 is the entry level one. It's about 700 USD. And I would consider it to be in about the same ballpark as the P45 and the Kawai ES100. And then the FP60 is mid-range. It's about 1400 USD. And the FP90 is premium at about 1800 USD. Let's start by talking about the FP30. You guys really like the cost, the keys and feel, and then the sound quality for the price. Like other entry-level digital pianos, this one definitely lacks the bells and whistles of more expensive options. There really aren't a lot of sound options beyond the basic, like, default grand piano sound, but the default is high quality, it feels natural to play, it sounds pretty good. And again, like some of the others, it does have Bluetooth functionality, which it seems to be the norm. Now, I haven't been in the keyboard buying game in a few years, and this wasn't the norm even a few years ago, but it's good to see that they're integrating this. If you're an iPad user, or even an Android, I believe, they have an app. Roland has an app that allows you to record and do all kinds of things with ease. A comment that one of you made is that the harder edges of a cheaper digital piano are a little bit more uncomfortable on the fingers if you're playing for a while. Basically, the keys are a little bit more square and less rounded than like a good acoustic or digital piano. So if you're pressing loudly, you're playing for a while, it can just dig into, I played on keyboards like this, they just dig into your fingers a little bit, whereas the rounded edges you can kind of just go hard on them. A few of you also mentioned that it's worth it to invest in a better pedal than the default that comes with this, just because it's not a very good pedal, but pedals are cheap, so that's not a big deal. The Roland FP60 is very good sounding without headphones. Like, headphones sound great too, but the speakers I find to be really nice for the price range. The Roland website basically says it's a rich, impressive sound with ample projection for performing at small venues, while a range of non-piano sounds allow you to convey a variety of musical styles. And like the FP30, it's got Bluetooth, it has the app, etc., etc. Now, one thing I liked about this one when I was playing around with it was the levers for adjusting the tone of the piano for mids, highs, and lows. And that was just incredibly foolproof. I'm not a very tech-savvy person, so to be able to just easily and instantly adjust the sound was awesome for me. This is a digital piano that would be at home in a living room just as well as on the road for a performer. Actually, that's one thing I find about the Roland series. I think all of them would travel pretty well. I didn't like lift them, but they all seem pretty lightweight and travel friendly. Now, for the FP90, I didn't try this one out myself, but what you've told me is that the sound of this piano is incredible. It has proper grading and a really realistic feel. The keys are wooden and the speakers on the piano are super high quality, which is one thing I gotta hand it out to this entire Roland series. I really do like the speakers on them. This one has everything you'd expect, all the features, special features like realistic piano sounds, dozens of presets, a full MIDI GM2 set, and it also has recording capabilities, which some of the simpler keyboards just don't. You can't record directly onto them. One of you mentioned a feature of this keyboard that I thought is super cool. It has a diary page. Basically, it background records your practice session, and those sessions stay stored in the keyboard's memory for like weeks, which basically allows you to revisit previous practice sessions, and that can be really helpful and inspiring. Anyway, if you're interested in checking this out more, definitely head to the Roland website. All of these have websites on the manufacturers where they'll give you sound examples, like examples of people playing the piano beyond just me, like if you want to research this further. And this is a really nice one if you're looking for a premium option. I want to give a quick shout out to the cheapest option. It's not significantly cheaper than any of the others we've talked about, but the Korg B1 is around 500 USD, not including a stand. And it is a good option if you're on a budget. The keys are quite plastic feeling, and I mean, you're not going to get a super realistic acoustic sound from this simple keyboard, but it is decently weighted, it doesn't feel bad, and it has everything you need to begin learning piano. Now, I don't like this one as much as the Kawai ES100 from what I've read, or the Yamaha P45, which I really enjoy. However, this is one that a lot of you have, and a lot of you have been happy with, so it was worth a mention. Now let's talk about the luxurious performing keyboard. Luxurious because of the price and the features. This is just such a cool keyboard. It's actually a brand I've never heard of. The brand is Nord, and it's called the pianoTV. Now there are a handful of you, not very many. I think there was 5 or 6 of you who have this digital piano, and you just raved about it. It wasn't something I would have considered beforehand to put on this list, but your comments inspired me, and once I started looking into it, it is a really cool keyboard. And I mean, an obvious and immediate benefit is the flashy red color, which I have a special affinity for. Actually, my old performance keyboard with my band was an old red Korg, and I like red keyboards. They make my heart warm. And all the presets really lend themselves to live performance. Now, if you're a performing, touring, traveling keyboardist looking for something really, really awesome, next level, that doesn't sacrifice on piano quality, but has a lot of fun extras for performing, definitely check this one out. I do like the digital piano options on this one. It has a lot of presets, so you can get like a Steinway sound and all other kinds of piano sounds, upright, baby grand, etc. And even aside from all the piano presets, there's lots of other customizations you can make to get a really specific sound, including the room, reverb, ambience, resonance, and etc. The accessories that it comes with, like the travel case and the pedal, are all top quality, and you really like those. Now, I don't want to end this video on a negative note, because this is a keyboard that, well, I own it, so I've had it for quite a while, and I mean, it's been fine. It's not horrible. I don't cringe every time I play it or anything, but I don't love it, and I am considering exchanging it in the future for something that I prefer a little bit more. And you guys seem to feel the same way too. So a lot of you have the Yamaha P15, and about half of you were kind of on the fence about it, and about half of you were pretty happy with it. So this one's a little hit or miss, and I wouldn't ordinarily bring up, because there were other keyboards on this list too that you guys were a little meh about, but there's 2 reasons I wanted to talk about this one. One is that I have it, so I can speak to it in more detail, but the other reason is that it's often recommended as a beginner keyboard. It's often recommended right along with the Yamaha P45, but I think the P45 is a lot better personally. I find in a live setting, the P15 loses a lot of oomph. It's really mellow, and it loses a lot of clarity at higher volumes. This one's currently about $570 USD on Amazon, and that's without stands or anything. So it is one of the cheaper options on this list. But again, I would skip it and go for the P45, the Kawai ES100, or the Korg B1 before I would go to this one. I just find it's It just feels a little cheap. It feels a little plasticky. The sound and the touch of it aren't the best. That being said, I did buy it, so it was obviously good enough for me to buy. But at that time, I hadn't tried out a bunch of different keyboards, so I just wanted something incredibly cheap and simple at the time. And I didn't really do my research. And that is all for today's episode of Piano TV. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely, if you're interested in checking out a digital piano to buy, stop by Long McQuaid because, you know, they obviously have a lot of them. And it's a good place to shop. Thank you so much for watching. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next video.